Good morning. Welcome to the Roscommon County Board of Commissioners meeting, September work session, September 14th, 2022. First up, number one, service credit purchase and early retirement request. Noel Martin, come on up, Noel.
Please put your mic on.
Knows the drill.
Good morning. Okay, so quick update. I had to write everything down so I remembered it all. It's a quick update for our voluntary early retirement program. We've got 3 official commitments to participate in the program, with 1 officially requesting funds to purchase years of service. That I'll talk about in here in just a second. Jody and I, either one of us has spoken with 5 employees who are interested in the program, with 2 more scheduled to meet and discuss. So a total of 7 that are not committed yet, but interested. So we discussed the different options, what it meant for them. And then, of course, that's a big decision. So they are taking some little bit of time to think it over, and they'll get back with us. So that number 3 might increase in here in the future, but it's definitely garnered interest. So, but our first official person to request, Dean Mader, he's officially requesting to purchase 1 year of MERS service credit, with the intent then to be able to retire November 1st of this year. That purchase of 1 year will get him to the 25 year, which will then qualify him for the early retirement, which is laid out in the early retirement incentive program. So this year of purchase cost estimate from MERS is $27,306. He's requesting to utilize the early retirement incentive program $12,000 to assist in the purchase of this year of service credit purchase. He will fund the rest of the purchase as required by you, the board. And then he will, like I said before, he'll qualify for the early retirement as described in the program. So with that, next meeting, I will have 2 motions ready for you to be able to vote on, because MERS does require you as the board to approve any service credit purchases. So one will be to utilize that $12,000 to prove for him to utilize that $12,000 for the program. And then the other will be to purchase the years of service. Any questions?
Okay, so that'll be the first formal one. The rest of them will have to go through the same.
Yeah, so if
Eventually.
some of them, the other 2 that are official commitments, actually, they're just official to commit to retire by March 31st, to be able to utilize that, but they are already met the qualifying requirements for retirement.
Oh, as far as years and stuff.
Won't have
as far as years of service.
They don't have to purchase years of service. There are a few we've talked to who actually will have to. So if that's the case, then you'll see me again doing the same thing.
So can we act on that next meeting?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Anybody got any questions?
When was the cutoff date for this?
It was 60 days from the approval. So I tried to calculate it out about 2. It's just probably shy of the end of October. I was using October 24th as my cutoff date in my mind. I haven't actually calculated out 60 days because it was of whatever 60 days was of your approval at the end of August.
They approved that on August
24th was the meeting.
Yeah, so
I
that's when they
calculated
got to
out.
come and talk to you guys, or Jody or somebody
Yeah, they have to
get qualified for that, but then they don't have to retire until
March 31st.
Okay.
Could be their last date on the payroll.
All right. Thank you.
Yep, you're welcome.
All right. Anybody else got anything? Okay, Noel, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Item 2, L4029 tax rate request. Jamie Hauserman here to do her yearly statutory duty, right?
Yes, sir.
Good morning, honorable members of the Board of Commissioners, Roscommon County.
I am Jamie Hauserman, your Equalization Director. In front of you today is a copy of the State Tax Commission Form L4029. This form has been updated since the summer levy occurred and now includes the winter levy. In looking at the form, I'd like to say that this form is a statement of transparency. This is the 2022 tax rate request for the County of Roscommon. It includes the winter tax levy against the total 2022 taxable value of all property within Roscommon County. That number being $1,513,946,180. So in breaking down the form, each of the columns, for column number 2, it describes what each of those millage rate requests are. That being the general fund, the E911, the road patrol, senior services for the Commission on Aging, Gypsy Moth program, animal shelter has 2 millages as approved by the voters, Veterans Affairs Office, and our county road millage. Each of those, and then in column 3 is the date that they were elected by the voters to be part of the levy. It goes on to explain what those original millage rates were when they were approved by the voters. Column number 5 is the column that shows the reduced amount based on the Headley Amendment rollbacks. You'll see in column number 6 this year, we had an additional rollback. We've been talking about this for several years now. In inflationary periods, those millage rates are required to be rolled back based on that 1978 Headley Amendment. You'll note that there are 2 line items that do not have a rollback in that column number 6, that being the E911 and the road patrol. That's because in the year of an election, and they had those elections in August of this year, they're not required to comply with that rollback fraction. So they're at a full mill because of that August election of 2022. You'll also note, though, in the senior services, which did have an August election, is not listed as such, and that's because they had elected per their ballot language to not start collecting until 2024. They are still subject to rollback fractions, and so I would anticipate next year them not being able to collect that full amount.
Is the road patrol 1.50?
It is.
Okay, all right, thank you.
And so as you move on across the columns, you'll see column number 9 being the maximum allowable levy. That's the most that can be collected under each of these voted in millage rate or voted in services. Column number 10 is what we collected for the summer tax levy, and column number 11 is the winter tax levy. In each situation, as you know, based on our significantly dwindling budgets, we'll have to collect the full amount in order to continue to provide those services. As such, the full amount has been laid out for you. That is a decision that you as a board can make. If you'd like to reduce the amount, you cannot raise the amount, but if you'd like to reduce the amount of any line item, you could. That last column is the ending period for which the voters have approved those levies to be collected. Let me say that this form was compiled under the provisions of MCL 211.24E, which is Truth in Taxation, MCL 211.34, which is Truth in County Equalization and Truth in Assessing, MCL 211.34D, which is the Headley Amendment, and MCL 211.37, which is apportionment. Have any questions about what's on the form?
I just have one, Jamie, and I'm sure that Steve's probably thinking the same thing. Where's the transit at?
Yeah, it's on a separate form,
a
so.
separate form? And
Commission on Aging, based on statute, is required to be on your L 4029, not on its own. Transit Authority is now able to be on their own form, and Steve has completed that form and has done his own request.
and it is at the new authorized rate, correct?
Absolutely.
So
Totally.
24, okay,
So
gotcha.
he's
All
in
right,
the
thank
same
you.
Situation, I believe he's collecting, off the top of my head, 0.4910. Is that correct?
I just knew that was a separate millage and I just wanted to clarify
So based
that.
on his rollback, he's collecting less than what had been approved by the voters because of the Headley Amendment.
Till next year.
Until 2024, he will start collecting his new millage. However, that is subject to rollback also.
Right, immediately it starts rolling back. Okay,
Correct.
all right.
Okay.
Yep.
And so with all of that, I respectfully request that the following motions be adopted at your September 28th regular board meeting. A motion to levy the following ad valorem tax rates for Roscommon County for the year 2022 on the winter tax rolls. Operating millage at 0.0114, E911 at 1 mil, road patrol at 1.5 mils, senior services at 0.9822 mils, gypsy moth at 0.01228 mils, animal shelter at 0.2454 mils, and also at 0.1474 mils. Veterans at 0.1640, and county road services at 0.4914 mils. I'd also like a motion to authorize Robert E. Snyder, your chairperson, and Michelle M. Stevenson, your county clerk, to sign Form L 4029, including the winter tax levy for the county of Roscommon at the rates that I just said.
All right, we'll bring that. Anybody opposed to this? We'll bring it forward at the next meeting to be approved.
Beautiful. Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you. All right, item number 3, restoration millage information meetings. Commissioner Snyder and Russo. Dave, you want to go first? And give an update?
We met last night at Richfield Township. Tonight, we're having a meeting at Denton Township at 7 p.m. Tomorrow night at Garish Township.
7 o'clock.
7 o'clock p.m. We do have good quality of information and guest speakers at our meetings. I encourage everyone. Last night was a really good discussion.
Yep, had a really good discussion, and we actually got some suggestions in a positive manner on what more we can do. I don't want to throw this out there, but I didn't talk to Jody officially on this. I heard her talking to somebody else about something about postcards. You want to wait on that?
So one of the thoughts was we're trying to share information on why the proposal is on the ballot. A way of potentially reaching people who are out of the area would be to create just some very brief informational postcards that could point them to the website in regards to this is the budget, these are the things that are funded, this is what has the potential of not being included in next year's budget without the restoration millage passing. They'll probably run about 7 cents a piece, and that would include mailing from what I have found. I'd prefer to see if people are willing to chip in for that, even though they're just informational and we can legally pay for information. I would prefer to see if we could get people to chip in versus, and I think then I have to file an official like election campaign form as Michelle's smiling next to me. But I thought that would be an easier way to do that and a quick way to get information out, or at least get people to where they can look for more information.
How many of these are you talking about?
5,000?
Yeah, I just want to know a number.
Yeah.
Roughly 5,000, okay, that's roughly 7 cents a piece.
I'll count me in for a donation. David just said the same thing, so we get more information. We'll keep working on that, but that was something that come up last night. And another thing, a gentleman in the audience come up with and actually invited us to meet the candidate night on October 6th. Talk about this, said that there'd be a lot of people there for that, so we're going to follow up with that too. So I cannot be there tonight at tonight's meeting, but in my stead, I found out that Jamie Hauserman's going to be there, and she's more than qualified to take over for me. So thank you very much.
I've already assigned her roles.
Okay, good. She got my spot.
I took your spot. I'm giving her my spot, the
There
harder
you
one.
go. I couldn't ask for two better people to do it. Thank you. So,
And Mark said you were there too. Bill, last night, everybody that talked last night, the employees or elected officials, did a really good job. And we had a lot of positive comments.
yeah. So, we've already gotten some feedback on Facebook in a positive manner. So I think it was a step in the right direction. There wasn't a lot of people there, but the people were there they're the people that talk to a lot of other people, which is a good thing. So, all right. Anything else on restoration millage from anybody, Commissioner? Anything? Okay. Roscommon County Transit Authority appointment, Steve Du Bois.
Morning, everybody.
Good morning. How are you?
Not too bad. Be relatively short and sweet. We're basically just looking for some reappointments, some current board members to continue serving. That of Cliff Wood, Mike Perky, and Jody Valentino.
Okay. We also got Sherry Johnson on here as a retroactive reappointment, which is worded a little differently because I take it we must have missed her or something.
So we didn't actually miss Sherry, but in the clerk's office review, what we found was that the motion that we passed for Sherry's term 800 years ago was excessively vague and did not have an ending date on it.
Oh,
And Sherry, I believe, really enjoys serving on the transit board, but she didn't plan on being there in perpetuity, to use one of Commissioner Milburn's words.
all right. So just so you're aware, you're okay with it?
We're okay with that.
Okay. So it's just a matter of,
Housekeeping.
that's a housekeeping one, 3 reappointments and a housekeeping one as far as updating the date.
Correct.
So, and it is chairman's decision to bring that forward to the board and with the board's visit with the being, I feel time sensitive and they're just reappointments that we moved it up and you basically presented it today, but we're going to put it on for a motion today. Everybody's on board.
Yes.
Okay.
No problem.
So
Thank you very much.
we'll be acting on that one today. Okay. For you, Steve. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. You can carry on with the rest of your day now. Okay. Item number 5, 2023 health insurance rates. Jody Valentino.
So it's that time of year where I bring you doom and gloom. As you know, we have been extremely successful in the last 8 years as far as being able to contain the health insurance increases for our employee health benefits to less than 6% on an annual basis. This year, that's not going to happen. We are already in a high deductible plan. We already take the risk assessment through offering the healthcare spending account that reimburses for that high deductible. We have increased copays for doctor's visits. We have increased our copays for prescription drugs. We made the change from Blue Cross to Priority Health and went to a more managed healthcare system. This year, we saw the crunch of COVID, I guess is the best way I can put it, both figuratively and literally. We had that 2-year period that they look back at when they set our premiums. It had all of those surgeries that nobody could do or would do during high COVID times. So any knee replacement surgery, any, carpal tunnel surgery that was replaced, in addition to, we did have a couple very high claimants, two related specifically to COVID, and a few others that are related to some more experimental drugs that pharmaceuticals that are needed for them to survive their conditions, basically. All that being said, that brought our increase back to us to 14% for our health insurance. That is probably total of what we've seen in the last 6 years. It's a pretty huge number. So of course, I'm going to do my due diligence and working with our third party administrator. And she immediately goes out to Blue Cross Blue Shield, who since we've left have been begging to have us back, thinking, well, at a minimum, we'll get some leverage for Priority Health. Blue Cross Blue Shield looked at the last year's worth of claims, which had a 36% usage increase, and said, no, thank you. If you can get your usage down, we would love to quote you again, but we won't do it this year. In this area, there's not a lot of other places to go for health insurance that are worthwhile or utilized by our local small healthcare services. So we are where we are with Priority Health with a 14% increase. We tossed around the idea of adding 2 more tiers essentially to the pharmacy, and I am waiting to see with those prescriptions what type of percentage decrease. We're guessing it might bring it from 14 to 11% down, which is every little bit counts. We are also toying with going from a 5% employee contribution to a 10% employee contribution. So I'll have to get those numbers and bring those to you with the budget. So I just wanted you to know that that is my heartbreaking bad news for that, and was like a gut punch going into what I already knew was going to be a tough budget season. But I will keep you informed.
I realize it's a 14% increase. Look at the
Mark?
Yeah, I agree with Dave. This is a national, this is not just indicative of what we're doing here at Roscommon County. This is a national increase. I respect what you've done for us, and 14% probably is going to be better than many other counties around.
what amount will we save since we.
And I look at it, Priority Health is, I mean, from a personal standpoint, I think it's been good for us. And as far as the employees, the feedback that I've had, and I haven't had any lately, but when we were looking at Priority Health and after we got into them for a couple of years, and I don't know how many years, we've been 4, 5, 6 years with them now, aren't we? Be our 5th year. The employees are satisfied, and I know being down at the health department, a few years in this last 5-year period, they switched to it was an off the wall, and yeah, it saved them money, but I tell you what, at the time, but the complaints we got from the health department employees about that particular insurance agency for a year was just, I mean, they have Priority Health now also. So they switched back to Priority Health, but it just wasn't worth it. And so I think it's one of those things that I think probably the COVID probably contributed to it, because probably people put off elective surgeries until this past year, which is why we showed the increase. So hopefully next year it'll be different. Tim?
No, I was just gonna say that you knew that this was gonna come, because like I said, the COVID, nobody was gonna get their surgeries and stuff like that done. Well, they're doing it this year, and like you said, that's the reason why the rates are going up. You knew it was gonna happen, but you just didn't know when.
So I would say let's review those tweaks you're talking about. decide what we can or can't do on that, and then personally continue with priority health.
And a side note, Mr. Chair, I think, for the future, we're gonna have to live with the stock market dropping over 1,200 yesterday, CPI at all-time high, 42-year high for inflation. I think we're gonna anticipate, we have to at least as a board anticipate this is gonna continue for the foreseeable future.
Yep. Okay. Item number 6, premium pay letter of agreement, personnel committee. That's David, myself, and Jody, and we did get a response back from our letter asking what would they have done with that first thing that we approved for the corrections officers. And they come back with an agreement that they would like to have everybody included in it. And that's not the intent of what we passed. So at this particular time, my personnel committee is recommending that we pull this offer back and put it into our county ARP money. Any input on that? Okay, David's on board, Mark's on board, Tim's on board. Okay. All right. I don't think we need any further discussion on that, do we? Okay. Since we got a little time and she's sitting out there, we do have a couple of motions on in regards to actually 3 in regards to Cellmate Food Solutions. And all I'm looking for, Lori, any more update as far as you've kept us informed all the way through. Any update we need to know?
The breakdown that I did for you.
Yes.
Okay, but I mean,
Down to what it's actually gonna cost.
right, yep, I received that information, I went over that, and I looked at that, and I know those per meal costs were quite less. And even if they come back a little higher in that, we're still gonna save money. So, I mean, so,
There you go.
right, and I think all the way around, the food itself will improve, the service will improve, the management headaches will go away, hopefully for you.
That's
Yep, that's probably the bigger plan than anything, okay? No other update on that then? Okay, sounds good. Thank you. All right, we will,
When is this gonna be put into effect?
we were actually shooting for the date. And then what happens? Explain that.
so, and Cellmate is aware of that and they can move that fast if they have to?
Yes,
Perfect.
I've been in constant contact with.
All right, okay,
Chairman,
yes.
can we take maybe 15 minutes to discuss juvenile detention
Oh, let's do it now, yep,
during my?
let's do it now, that's fine.
So we have been discussing and monitoring, and the Juvenile Detention Committee has been discussing and monitoring where our juvenile detention center is fiscally, building wise, maintenance, just across the board. Where are they? Where is the continued need? And while we certainly do have juveniles that need that short-term assignment, we find ourselves in a place as of yesterday where we must consider strongly closing juvenile detention. They came to Bob and I about 2 weeks ago. They have been minimally staffed, unable to fill positions at even a starting wage of $15 an hour, even for a full-time position that we turned it into from a part-time to try to attract somebody with benefits. for many months. Turnover has been a 20-year problem for them because the type of position is, and I think Commissioner Milburn could, it is not, while personally gratifying, it certainly is not one that your customers appreciate you in, or where the exterior appreciates what you do. The costs have increased to serve juveniles, even in short-term stays, just astronomically in the last 5 years. It was always the intent 20 years ago when juvenile detention was built, put into play, construed, that it would serve our youth first, and then reach out externally. Unfortunately, our youth are not short-term stay youth that get placed. In speaking directly with Jake Collini, our referee, for the juvenile, he was here a few weeks ago and he had made the comment, we don't send our youth there. We don't have the youth that do that. It's a very rarity. So the last 2 years, we've appropriated about $170,000 each year to juvenile detention. Therefore, we have not been appropriating $170,000 to our youth. We have been utilizing general tax funds to take care of out-of-county youth, which is not where we want to be. The budgeting started, and we went through, put in the 14% benefit increase, put in the full staffing model, and they came out at about $527,000 for expenses. That's with changing nothing but the things that must change, with health insurance and wages. Their revenues are about $120,000 short. We sat down and we figured it out, and you would be looking at having to charge a day stay at about $367 a day, which is actually more than the state charges for long-term stays. If I sound shaky, it's because this makes me very sad. I had a meeting yesterday. I was summoned, is the best way to put it, to speak with the director and the assistant director, and they do not feel, staffing-wise, that they can continue in operations for more than the next 30 days. I don't know if you would like to schedule a special meeting to discuss this more. Neither one of them are able to be there because they're covering, obviously, because there's no staffing, or what this looks like. But we do have to make a decision, and make a decision sooner rather than later. Noelle and I also need to research the federal and state laws in regards to layoffs so that you could have that information as well.
Do we need to, I think that's the only commissioner that was here when this was established was Commissioner Milburn. So you want to review what the intent was, is when you first, I assume you voted to establish the detention center. Am I correct?
That was a long time ago, Mr. Chair.
Don't do that to me.
You know, juvenile youth offenders have become a statewide concern for years. I know that this has been a concern for many years. And I would certainly welcome the recommendation from Valentino, the chairman, that we have a special meeting in regard. This is saddens me to hear this. Bottom line is we have exceptional people put themselves in harm's way every day at the juvenile center to keep those youth, to help them progress in their life. At your leisure, Mr. Chairman, I'll certainly try to make myself available for a special board meeting to discuss this concern.
Okay, I think that we need to look at that. It does have, going back, we're talking budget, but it affects our budget, and it's just one of them things. I feel there's a need for it, but if you can't staff it, what are you going to do? I was going to allude to it. The other in the next meeting in my committee report, but it was a Monday. Under Sheriff Lowe and myself were over to Cadillac for a mental health meeting, trying to work through some concerns over there, and it's the same thing with mental health all over the state. We're trying to get this motion or
you,
MOU passed, and it has been passed by 4 counties, and it's got 2 more to go. But we're working on that. Come to find out, they're having staffing issues all over the state with mental health. So,
well, as I mentioned too earlier, it's a statewide concern.
yep.
It seems to be every year it gets progressively worse. Maybe that's not the right word.
So when it comes,
It's hard. It's harder to get quality people. The quality people get sucked up into different jobs. So, and I understand that it's difficult to find those kind of people that can do this kind of business.
when we schedule that special meeting, I think, we need to have as many commissioners there as we can. Do we need to have Jake there to represent the courts, or do we need to have the chief judge?
I would say that we could invite Jay. Yes.
Okay.
Obviously, they don't,
Obviously,
but they don't have that, they don't have a decision making.
they don't have a decision. They don't, I would have them there. I just think that we need to,
What the effect on the court may or may not.
may or may not have, correct, right. And our staffing is down over there. And the last I checked last week when they were over we're down to 2, which August and September are their worst months because of school starting up. The schools hang on to their kids so they can count them for their state count in September. So, and then in October is when their counts go up. But I think we're to the point now with the budget crunch that we've got next year, may be inevitable. Let's have a special meeting to make sure we got all our ducks,
Sounds good.
got our ducks in a row. So I will get with you guys as appropriate time and see if we can, I don't know if we need anybody else there besides Jake.
Obviously, Mike and Cheryl
Okay.
would be the appropriate people. I mean, they're the ones that are in the trenches, and I'll be honest, I was hoping when I went over there that they were going to tell me they had found some magic solution to the different angles that we have seen that have brought down A, the need, and B, the ability.
And to their,
But that was not at all what they told me.
and to their credit, they reached out to Jody that they wanted this to discuss the situation, and that was what they come to the table with. So, no, it's not a good thing. But it's a
I will
problem.
tell you, I never like to rush decisions. Obviously, actually, I'm a fast mover. But if we could get that special meeting scheduled sooner rather than later, it's a 2-part. The first part is we're going to be looking at 3 employees working 24/7 by the end of September. We are also going to be looking at the fact that we do have some open full-time positions within the county right now that are going to be interviewed for quickly. And if they wanted the ability to apply for one of those positions, we do have 4 full-time employees that could be considered at least for those. So there's,
Well, looking at David and our commitment next week, I'm looking at the 21st.
Yeah, on Wednesday, that would be
Good for me, Mr. Chair.
Okay, what time you looking at, gentlemen?
10 o'clock.
Yeah, that's fine with me, Mr. Chair, Mr. Vice.
10 o'clock a.m. next week. We'll make sure that the proper notices get posted, and it's more specifically for the juvenile detention. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Any other discussion we need, Jody, on that?
no, sir, I'm texting Cheryl right now to let her know.
Okay. All right. Be back here at 10 o'clock. Thank you. Good morning. Welcome to the Roscommon County Board of Commissioners regular meeting, September 14th, 2022. Would everyone please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? And Commissioner Milburn, would you lead us in the pledge, please?
Chair.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Item 3, roll call of board members, please.
Here.
Russo. Sorry, I didn't have my mic on. Snyder,
Here.
Melvin,
Vacation.
Milburn,
Here.
Muckenthaler.
Here.
Okay. Item number 4, approval of the agenda, please.
So move, Mr. Chair.
Second.
Okay. Got my thing scrolled here. Any further comments in regard, or, in regards to the agenda? We have a motion by Commissioner Milburn
Yes.
and a second by Commissioner Muckenthaler.
Russo.
Russo. Okay.
Up your game there.
I was screwing around with my computer here. Roll call, please.
Muckenthaler,
Yes.
Snyder,
Yes.
Milburn,
Yes.
Russo.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay. Approval of the minute for meetings, regular meetings, 8/10/2022 and 8/24/2022.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it. Any further comments from any commission in regards to the regular meeting minutes of last month? Hearing or seeing none, roll call.
Russo,
Yes.
Milburn,
Yes.
Snyder,
Yes.
Muckenthaler.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay. Item 6, claims and accounts. Shell Class A is first.
Move to approve Class A bills in the amount of $653,750.48.
So move.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Russo, seconded by Commissioner Muckenthaler to approve Class A's in the amount of $653,750.48. Any further comments from any commissioners at this time? Hearing or seeing none, roll call.
Milburn,
Yes.
Schneider,
Yes.
Muckenthaler,
Yes.
Russo.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, claims and accounts, please.
Move to approve claims and accounts in the amount of $118,557.13.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it. Motion was made by Commissioner Muckenthaler, seconded by Commissioner Snyder to okay claims in the amount of $118,557.13. Any further comments from any commissioner at this time? Hearing or seeing none, roll call.
Schneider,
Yes.
Russo,
Yes.
Milburn,
Yes.
Muckenthaler.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Item number 7, public comment, agenda items only, limited to 5 minutes. Any public comment from anybody at this time? All right, nothing out in Zoom land, okay. Item number 8, we were going to have to go, the commissioners are going to have to go into a closed session regarding communications with our attorney in regards to Ostrigen versus Schneider. 120357 and 2201120. So with that, do I have a motion to go into closed session,
I'll
please?
make that motion.
I'll second it. Any further discussion from any commissioner? Roll call.
Yes.
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 Okay.
Can you shut the system down, please, Andy?
Yep. So we shouldn't be long. So we all set?
This meeting is being recorded.
Okay.
Here's the answer to your question.
That's the answer to our question. Okay. We have to have a motion to go back into session. So
So move, Mr. Chair.
Second.
motion is made by Commissioner Milburn, seconded by Commissioner Russo to go back into our regular meeting. Any further comments from any commissioner? Hearing none, roll call.
Yes.
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 Okay. Administrator Controller report, please.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Our lawsuit update, Curich versus Roscommon County Treasurer, which involves the foreclosures of tax properties, delinquent tax properties. Still no change, still waiting for higher courts. Chill versus Roscommon County, still waiting for Supreme Court for acceptance as far as if they're going to hear it, kick it out. So hanging tight there. the Ostergen versus Schneider and Roscommon County Board of Commissioners, we currently have no change in. Ostergen versus Schneider et al., in which you just had the closed session on. Reminder, there is the trial on 9/15 at 10 a.m. Ostergen et al. Versus Melvin, no change in that status. Opiate suit, I did submit the electronic information for our request for funds for disbursement. Still do not know when that disbursement will come. Am starting to receive requests left and right via email of people who want the money. Keep telling them we'll keep it in-house first. So just so you know. New lawsuit, Ostergen versus Board of Canvassers et al. Emergency motion and suit in regards to the Board of Canvassers decision. It was a split tie. Tie goes to the runner essentially, and so they put the emergency motion to halt the recount and are suing based on the decision to continue with the recount on the split vote. The recount did take place at 9 a.m. on Monday. Mr. Ostergen did maintain his win. The hand count was conducted, and essentially what you find in a hand count, just so you're aware, is I vote absentee ballot, I'm on a split ticket, and I cross off and write oops or white out my Democrat vote because I really intended to vote Republican because I realize I can only vote for Cup on this side. Well, if that process is through the machine in that manner, the machine doesn't count a vote because it sees an overvote in that race or a split ticket. Or so each of them did gain some votes in that way, but Mr. Ostergen came out ahead by 5. So that is your official result. The board's decision-making authority, in an interesting little thing, boards with decision-making authority that are not the Board of Commissioners are not covered under our liability insurance. Fun fact. Therefore, attorney representative is going to be paid out of the general fund in a very short timetable based on the fact that in less than 12 hours, the suit was filed in circuit court. I did retain through recommendation Deborah Walling of Rosati, Schultz, Jobic, and I can't say Amspulchler. It is a rate of $250 per hour. She is short and sweet and knows that we definitely have a limited budget to work with in that, but I wanted to make you aware that that was going to be happening. Legislative update very quickly. Just a couple short things. The House Bill 5956 for the Michigan trial courts that would allow to continue for courts to have the authority to impose fees is moving forward. That would continue this through May 4th, 2024. These fees are separate from minimum state costs that are statutory and allowed for. These are overhead fees, those types of things. House Bills 6344 through 45 are set to expand the state's indigent defense system to include juveniles, ensuring that juveniles are eligible to receive the same legal services. There is also a House bill that would expand the Michigan Indigent Defense Commission to include representatives knowledgeable for juvenile justice. Another unfunded mandate coming down. Speaking of general counsel, so we've gotten to the point where it's really hard to find an attorney in a 2 hours notice and get all the research done. We have never had a general counsel law firm for Roscommon County. There are a couple different law firms out there that are recommended through MAC. I love Rosati, Schultz, Jobic. They're the ones that have normally been able to come through for me when it is a FOIA question that really needs some legal answers. General lawsuit representation on short notice, those types of things. I would like to interview them and see what that would look like for an agreed upon hourly rate. If you would like me to talk to a second additional one, one of the other recommendations from MAC where they've got, because obviously we're looking for somebody with a wide array of specialties, like looking for a doctor's office that, you know, you can see your allergist, your general, and your foot doctor all at one. Miller, Cantfield, Paddock, and Stone, but I can do those interviews and then bring a recommendation and pricing back to you. Obviously, you're not going to incur the cost unless you use the services, but if we're going exclusively to somebody, they're guaranteed, obviously, our business. And it would be very nice to have that easy contact to reach out to. So just
Could be at a reduced rate rather than taking somebody on, like you say,
yes, sir.
when we need them.
And that would be my hope. It would be would be at a reduced rate, and it would be a lot easier to get answers and more productive to do that. I am working on a letter of support that I have to get in today for the United Way Consumers Energy Grant that they are submitting for funding for a mobile soup kitchen in Roscommon County. If for some reason you don't think that that's something I should be doing, I'm giving you the opportunity to tell me now. But I think this is a great idea of bringing food and food bank items to the areas around the lake. Specifically, we have a lot of people that, especially in winter, they're not going to get out and drive. The food banks don't operate as much. Transit works, but you know, it's only for certain hours and certain pickups. So that's something that I would be kicking out that I wanted you to be aware of.
I'm not interested in more work for you, but I am interested in.
It's a great idea.
Great idea. If we can get a grant to pay for it.
Yep. It is a consumer's energy grant.
Can we get somebody else? Can we get somebody else to head that up and go after that?
So Tom Pettit, who's working with United Way, is actually the one who is submitting the grant. He and Sherry eventually are. So they've got that all set and ready to go. They just need that letter from the county that says.
All right, so it's minimal work on your part.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
The Houghton Lake Special Assessment, we are proceeding. Obviously, October is the day in court for, as the attorneys put it, who's in and who's out of the Special Assessment District. We have had 2 meetings, public meetings in person, and did have one virtual informational session as well. There were 118 people on the virtual section, and just to kind of round that out, because to me, I'm like, wow, there was 118 people, but it's really like 1.5% of the total people that received notification. Markey Township meeting was Monday night, which I attended with the attorney and the engineers, and then Commissioner Muckenthaler graciously attended last night in Lake Township. Sounds like the concerns are equal across the board. I say that the biggest one is the whole county should be paying for it. Obviously, you know, we know that most people will feel that way. Unfortunately, there is no mechanism in place through the Constitution, through any statutes that allows for a county-wide lake level control structure, dam maintenance. This is special assessments are the process for the properties in question that are perceived by court and by statute to receive benefits. I think the second thing that I've kind of heard is, well, why has the county let it get this far, this bad, this soon? To which we're reminding people that's actually not where we're at. We're at the point where we know that the useful life of the lake level control structure on Houghton Lake, along with the other 2 that will be coming, they're coming quickly, and we need to have a plan in place to correct that. Not everybody's happy, but considering the minimal that's out there, I think it's being as readily accepted as people like to have things readily accepted when it's going to cost them more money. So that's interesting. Our office is going to be attending the MERS conference on the 26th and the 27th. And I just wanted to make you guys aware of that. We don't get to do these things very often, and this is the least expensive conference there possibly could be, because MERS picks up a lot of the costs associated with that. Our deficit elimination plans have been accepted and approved by the state, so we are okay there. Our spongy moths, we have a total of 5 people that are counting. 2 of them are part-time because they have part-time jobs elsewhere. They are doing the very best they can, working every day, willing to work overtime. We will still hire anyone that's interested at any point in time in the next 60 days, basically, to continue to count. So we'll see. We'll see how this goes. We talked about and touched on the juvenile detention center as well. I just want to remind you that as we sit right now, there's absolutely no funding to appropriate. So I'll throw that over, and now I'll roll into the 2023 budget. We are on schedule for getting the revenue sheets in. That's happened. Expense sheets have been submitted back out to the department heads. They have the information of where we're going with 14% health insurance increase. The recommendation came through from our wage and salary based on connecting out to those comparable counties. The average increase at this point appears to be 3%. It's actually like 3.7%. The high increase being a 6% increase in a county, the lowest being a like 1.5% in one county. So we're going to try our best not to get behind. That being said, it's not going to be a good budget season. I know, again, I'm always doom and gloom, but when I receive revenues back and the sheets back and I input everything for the general operating, our total revenues for 2023 have increased only by $3,200. So that's $3,200 more, which certainly exceeds a 14%, or certainly is well under a 14% increase just for health benefits for people. We are to the point where as soon as I have the expense sheets in, and I don't have a department head that over budgets or tries to fluff their budget. If it ever happened, it certainly hasn't happened in the 9 years I've been doing this. So what I get is normally pretty good unless we have inverted a number. I will be bringing to you that list of non-statutories. You are going to have to make a determination of how we're going to make up whatever the difference is. And it is not going to be fun, and it is not going to be pretty. I have a department head meeting where I'm going to sit down with our department heads and we're going to hash through a lot of this on Friday. And I will let you guys know how that goes.
Right. You need anybody, do you need a commissioner to attend that with you?
You better not. They're always more open when it's just me, I think.
Thank you. Just wanted to offer. All right. All right. Any questions in regards to Jody's report, please? Any commissioner at this time? All right. Oh, just one thing. And budget and finance starts meeting as you get this information. Our first meeting is going to be on October 6th, correct? Gotcha. Thank you. That's all.
October what?
October 6th. Which I believe Ken said he's going to be attending that. So I don't know, Dave, if you're
Yes,
going
will
to.
be.
Okay,
Oh,
so I
okay.
think you're off the hook, okay?
Thank you.
All right. Unless the two of you work something out and you take his spot or something, that's up to you guys. All right.
Just
All right. Okay. Correspondence. Item A, Kurt Kehoe emailed us some broadband information. That was the two gentlemen that were here in regards to Camp Grayling, and he heard about our broadband thing, and he emailed us some broadband information, which we've passed on, I believe, to economic development. Item B is Muskegon County has a resolution in regards to energy independence. Item C, Muskegon County also has a resolution that they passed in regards to auto insurance reform. Item D, Michigan Association of Counties 826 legislative update. Item E is a David Coppin letter received in person at our office in regards to bans on election private monies. Everybody got a copy of that, I think. Okay. Item F, Rebecca Yunker, in regards to Northern Michigan Children's Assessment Center funding. Has that been resolved? Because I thought it was resolved, but then I was told that it wasn't.
It was resolved.
It is
Now it's not
resolved.
resolved.
That's what I thought.
It was resolved. Now it's not resolved again. So they are waiting for our state legislatures to finish how they're appropriating all of this extra money. My guess is their plan is probably to cut it from the real budget and then do a fill-in with American Rescue Plan Act fund money, that their big $1 billion that they have and have to allocate.
That won't, and I just,
So it was approved and then denied, or?
and then approved and denied again.
To House of Representatives to, yes, it keeps changing.
And in talking to I should say probably anticipate he'll be our new representative, which is Ben Borton out of Gaylord, just Monday. That will not be resolved before the 30th of September. It'll be after that. Because they're not going to spend any of that ARP money that they've got until after September, which is the end of the fiscal year for the state. So, and they're not back in session officially back until October anyway. We can believe it. I couldn't believe it when he told me that. So, okay, item G, Higgins Lake Land Conservancy, letter in regards to Camp Grayling. Item H, Michigan Association Counties Grant Alert. And item A, Michigan Associated Counties Legislative Update from 9/2. Any commissioners have any questions in regards to correspondence? Okay, monthly department reports, the Economic Development Report, July and August, Director's Report. Item B, Roscommon County Central Dispatch for August 2022. Any questions from any commissioner? Item 12, any visitors that'd like to be recognized at this point? Nobody out there? Thank you, Andy. Under item 13, unfinished or new business with restoration millage is probably going to stay on there for a while. Do we have anything additional? I know we hashed that over pretty good in the work session. Okay. Item 14, motions and resolutions. At this particular time, we have to add motion number 8 in regards to our closed session. So if Michelle would read that in so we can put it into our agenda, please. Motion number 8. Gotcha.
Move to authorize.
Well, I just want you to read the motion so we can okay it as commissioners to
Right.
put it on the record. Okay, got it. Go ahead.
This is the wording for the
Gotcha.
motion.
Thank you.
For motion number
8.
8. Move to authorize Attorney Matthew Zaluski to proceed as discussed in closed session regarding Ostergren versus Schneider et al. Case number 22-725820-CZ.
Okay. I have a motion to add that to the agenda, please.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Okay, motion made by Commissioner Muckenthaler, seconded by Commissioner Russo to add the additional motion in regards to our closed session as number 8. Any further comments from any commissioner at this time? Hearing or seeing none, roll call.
Milburn,
Yes.
Snyder,
Yes.
Russo,
Yes.
Muckenthaler.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
We got to amend the agenda.
Do we have to amend the agenda now, Mr. Mo, or did we just do it?
I would say to stay, I think we do. I think it's probably is most appropriate that we do it, just for the record, Mr. Chair.
Okay, so
Motion, I don't think you need a roll call for it, but I would say. Wait.
Motion to amend.
motion to amend.
Make it a motion, Mr. Chair.
Okay, give me the motion.
Make it a motion to amend, to add the aforementioned motion read by the Madam Clerk.
All right. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
You want to roll
Yeah,
call?
do a roll call vote, Mr. Chairman, because we always do.
I like to do the other one once in a while
Well,
here.
the thing is, Mr. Chair, if it can be questioned later that the roll call vote wasn't read, because that's how we normally do it.
Okay, roll call.
May I please have a moment to finish writing out? the
Yes,
motion?
that's why I was trying to, that's why I tried to do the other way, but I'm okay with either way. I'm trying to move things along, but that's fine. We're here to please.
Obviously not very well.
Well, the reason being, Mr. Chairman, is we have a moment, is just to reduce any ambiguity from the public would say, well, somebody didn't actually vote, we didn't hear their voice. So it's better to have a roll call.
I know when then we started out with, we didn't even know if we had to do it or not. So I'm okay either way, guys.
Okay. Schneider,
Yes.
Muckenthaler,
Yes.
Milburn,
Yes.
Russo.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Now we will roll up. We'll go back to item 14, motions and resolutions, and start with motion number 1, please.
Move to authorize Lieutenant Lori Beck, jail administrator, to begin the process of changing our current model of fully contracted correctional food services to a hybrid partnership model with Cellmate Food Solutions. Calculated per meal costs to be $18,625 under current costs.
So move, Mr. Chair.
Second.
Motion's made by Commissioner Milburn, seconded by Commissioner Russo to authorize Lieutenant Lori Beck, jail administrator, to change contractors to Cellmate Food Solutions for our food service at the jail. Any further discussion from anybody at this time? Hearing or seeing none, roll call.
Muckenthaler,
Yes.
Schneider,
Yes.
Milburn,
Yes.
Russo.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Motion number 2.
Move to authorize the creation of a full-time kitchen manager position based at 80 hours per pay period and placed at a grade 3 on the non-union wage scale, $16.04 to $18.87 per hour.
So move.
Second.
Motion was made by Commissioner Russo, seconded by Commissioner Russo. Muckenthaler to create a full-time kitchen position. Any further discussion from any commissioner? Hearing or seeing none, roll call.
Milburn,
Yes.
Schneider,
Yes.
Muckenthaler,
Yes.
Russo.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Motion 3, please.
Move to authorize the creation of a part-time corrections cook position based at 59 hours per pay period and placed at a grade 2 on the non-union wage scale, $14 to $16.48 per hour.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it. Motion was made by Commissioner Muckenthaler, seconded by Commissioner Schneider to create a part-time cook's position based on 59 hours per pay period. Any further discussion from any commissioner? Hearing or seeing none, roll call.
Russo,
Yes.
Schneider,
Yes.
Milburn,
Yes.
Muckenthaler.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Motion 4, please.
Move to approve the reappointment of Rollin C. Wood to the Roscommon County Transit Authority Committee for a 2-year term beginning October 1, 2022 through September 30, 2024.
So move.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Russo, seconded by Commissioner Muckenthaler to reappoint Rowland C. Wood to the Roscommon County Transit Authority Committee. Any further discussion from any commissioner at this point? Hearing or seeing none, roll call.
Schneider,
Yes.
Milburn,
Yes.
Muckenthaler,
Yes.
Russo.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, motion 5, please.
Move to approve the reappointment of Jody L. Valentino to the Roscommon County Transit Authority Committee for a 2-year term beginning October 1, 2022 through September 30, 2024.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second. Oh, go
Motion
ahead.
was made by Commissioner Russo, motion made by Commissioner Muckenthaler, seconded by Commissioner Russo to reappoint Jody Valentino to the Roscommon County Transit Authority Committee. Comment or concerns? Any commissioner at this time? Hearing or seeing none, roll call.
Milburn,
Yes.
Schneider,
Yes.
Russo,
Yes.
Muckenthaler.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, motion 6, please.
Move to approve the reappointment of Michael Perky to the Roscommon County Transit Authority Committee for a 2-year term beginning October 1, 2022 through September 30, 2024.
So move, Mr. Chair.
Second. Motion was made by Commissioner Milburn, seconded by Commissioner Schneider to approve reappointment of Michael Perky to the Roscommon County Transit Authority Committee. Any further comment from any commissioner at this time? Hearing or seeing none, roll call.
Russo,
Yes.
Muckenthaler,
Yes.
Schneider,
Yes.
Milburn,
Yes.
motion carried.
Motion 7, please.
Move to approve the retroactive reappointment of Sherry Johnson to the Roscommon County Transit Authority Committee for a 2-year term beginning August 28, 2021 through September 30th, 2023.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Motion made by Commissioner Snyder, seconded by Commissioner Russo to approve retroactively the reappointment of Sherry Johnson to the Roscommon County Transit Authority Committee for a 2-year term beginning August 28th, 21 to September 30th, 2023. Any further comments or concerns from any commissioner at this time? Hearing or seeing none, roll call.
Muckenthaler,
Yes.
Milburn,
Yes.
Russo,
Yes.
Schneider,
Yes.
motion carried.
Motion number 8, please.
Move to authorize Attorney Matthew Zalewski to proceed as discussed in closed session regarding Ostergen v. Schneider et al., case number 22-725820-CZ.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Motion made by Commissioner Snyder, seconded by Commissioner Russo. Any further comment or anything or any concerns from any commissioner at this time in regards to motion 8? Hearing or seeing none, roll call.
Milburn,
Yes.
Muckenthaler,
Yes.
Russo,
Yes.
Schneider,
Yes.
motion carried.
Okay. Thank you, Michelle. All right. Item number 15, committee reports, please.
I could start.
Okay, go ahead.
I attended a 911 authority board meeting, claims and accounts, and airport meeting.
Okay,
That's it.
all right.
Oh, this is Commissioner Muckenthaler. Like that, huh? I had animal control on last Thursday. NMRE up in Gaylord on Monday. Claims and accounts. Went to the Lake Township Board last night where they had a presentation for the Special Assessment District. And that's it.
Okay, Commissioner Milburn.
District Health, Animal Control, and I attended the memorial service for the COA on Monday. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Myself, I had Central Michigan District Health Department, both the finance meeting and a regular meeting on the 24th. Agenda meeting on the 8th with Commissioner Russo and Jody and Michelle. Restoration meeting that myself and Jody attended on Friday with some of the department heads to cover what we were going to be covering at these public meetings. On Monday, the 12th, the undersheriff and I attended the mental health meeting in Cadillac in regards to the MOUs. I did say earlier, there's still 2 counties out of the 6 that have to approve it yet. And they have started a process in regards to finding a new CEO. So is going in the right direction. They are having the same problem we're having with detention all over the state with mental health. They can't hire people. So we'll be having another meeting in October. So hopefully they'll have those MOUs taken care of by then so we can move forward to this reorganization. Just last night was a public meeting at Richfield Township with Mr. Russo referred to. He was there and I was there and Jody was there and Vanessa was there. Bill was there. Undersheriff was there. We had a great representation there. I think it went over very good. So I won't be at tonight's meeting, but David's going to be, and I believe Mark's going to be. So I think it'll be a great meeting there tonight. So, and then there's another one tomorrow. At 7 o'clock at Garish. So, and then we have just a reminder, friendly reminder, we have the court date tomorrow at 10 o'clock. Okay. Okay, so that's under committees. That's all I've got. I will add though, a couple things. I did talk to Vanessa. She has reached out in regards to Camp Grayling. She has gotten some contacts and there is a colonel that has reached out to us and would like to come to our September 28th work session to bring information to us. So it will be purely informational. It's not a public meeting. per se, but it is a public meeting as far as people be able to hear what he says. Okay, and you will reach out to him and put him on at the 9 o'clock work session, right? Okay. I'm not sure exactly where he's gonna appear, and I'm not sure what else we've got on the work session, so. Okay, and a final little thing I wanted to touch on. I know Mr. Milburn, I'm gonna say 2 or 3 meetings ago, expressed some interest in Person of the Year, and he expressed it, and he was going to nominate me, and I, at this point, would respectfully decline, but I would like to offer another person in my spot, which would be Joe Jean Thompson. And if Mr. Milburn would be so gracious as to reach out and take care of that Person of the Year.
I'd be happy to, Mr. Chair. Joe Jean Thompson, who lives, just for transparency, who does live in my district and obviously is well known throughout the county. Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you for kind consideration, Mr. Chairman.
okay, you're welcome. Thank you for yours, but it's just, I think it'd be better. So, all right. Any other public comment at this time? Yes, Michelle.
We hadn't asked for any public comment yet, but.
Well, I had to get that other thing in, sorry.
I provided each of you with a copy of a notice that has been put on the county website, and it's going to be in the paper. And it has been posted on Facebook. I believe Andy put it out there for me as well. On some changes that are happening in the county clerk and register of deeds office temporarily. So due to unforeseen circumstances, the county clerk and register of deeds office will need to utilize an appointment-based schedule system for all services conducted in this office until further notice. So we've had a lot of things happening, very short staffed currently. So in order to not go back to the trauma from 2020 that was experienced in my office with services continuing to be provided to the public, this was what was in the best interest to preserve those of us that are still there, while also trying to make it more effective and be available for the public. So it was also decided that it was better for us. What we were doing previously was staggered lunches so that we were able to stay open over lunchtime, because I appreciate that people do have to sometimes take their lunchtime to come and conduct business at the building. So we are closing, for all of us are taking lunch at one time from 11:30 to 12:30 is our plan. And then we'll be open at 12:30, and we're working with people. If they come in and they're not able to get in, they can call the office. As long as everybody isn't busy, we will most definitely say, yes, come on in. But we've got elections. We had the recount, which was taking a lot of time up until we had that. We've got 2 townships, and between those 2 townships that have recall elections, we have 7 officers up for recall. So in both of those townships, the clerk is subject to recall. That means I have to find somebody to run those elections and handle. And when I say run the election, that doesn't just mean on election day. That means all of the absent voter processing that happens up to, which will be beginning any day. They can start sending their applications out. Ballots are due to them by the 24th. Because of the way legislation is set up, they could file the recall petitions with signatures until August 5th. Well, based on that process, they file those petitions. We have 30 days to allow those candidates to challenge signatures and voters' registrations, and we have to allow them that 30 days. So this year, that 30 days fell over Labor Day weekend. So if one of those deadlines, depending on what it is, falls on a weekend, let alone a holiday weekend, it has to be pushed until the next business day, which was Tuesday, September 6th. So on Tuesday, September 6th, we had the filing deadline for candidates for Lyon Township recall elections, which we had to stay open until 5 o'clock to allow for that. And then also that was the last day for the officers in Ridgefield Township to file any challenges regarding the signatures on the petitions that were submitted. And then I made the call of election that night for the Richfield Township recall election. So then that allows 10 days for candidates for those positions to file, which will be this Friday, the 16th, until 5 o'clock. So we will be open until 5 o'clock that day to allow for candidates to file, which means, guess what? I can't have my ballots done yet. So the state legislature had until Friday the 9th to put any constitutional questions on there. So there are going to be some statewide proposals as well. We've gotten the information from the state. So our vendor is working tirelessly to try to get ballot proofs to me. And once we get those, we have to mail those ballot proofs out to all of the candidates and all of the organizations that submitted proposals to be on the ballot for them to approve. And coordinating all of that, and also getting precinct kits together, scheduling election inspector certification training prior to this, sending out second notices for juror questionnaires for the people who didn't return them after the first notice, and basically having very minimal staff for Register of Deeds. Services aren't going to be conducted, or things aren't going to be turned over immediately like they have been, or as quickly as possible as they have been. There might be a little bit of a delay. It's not going to be significant. It's not, especially in the Register of Deeds office, it's not going to go back to where it was when I came in, where it was 2 or 3 or more weeks to process documents. We're not going to do that. I just am hoping that you understand and that the public understands. Sorry, this was not something that I came to lightly. It was nothing in my control. And I'm sorry I'm emotional, because this is not the way I want to conduct my office, but this is what's best for the people that we have here and for the community as a whole. So we do have signs, and I will, if you have questions, please reach out and contact me.
All right. That's the only question. You just answered it. You said you're gonna have signs and posted, so. All right, good. All right. All right. Any other public comment at this time, please? Hey, anybody, nobody out there in Zoom land? Okay, item number 17, adjournment, please.
Mr. Chair.
Motion made by Commissioner Milburn, seconded by Commissioner Russo to go into adjournment. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, I got one of them.